In the mystical town of Safed, high upon the hills of Galilee, where the air is crisp with the echoes of ancient Kabbalists, lived Yosef, a humble maker of prayer shawls. Yosef's little shop, a barely noticeable nook between the town's famed synagogues and art galleries, was filled with the soft clatter of his loom and the subtle scent of woven wool. Yosef, a widower in his late 50s, led a life intertwined with threads of tradition and solitude. His days were a repetitive weave of blue and white threads, crafting tallits that embraced whispers of prayers and hopes. Each tallit, with its unique blend of threads, carried a story Yosef told with every knot and tassel he meticulously created. One ordinary Thursday, as the sun dipped behind the mountains, casting elongated shadows through the cobblestone alleys of Safed, Miriam entered Yosef's shop. Her arrival was like the warm breezes that sometimes swept up from the valleys in the early days of spring. Miriam, who had recently returned to Safed after decades abroad, brought with her tales of cities draped in different histories, cultures that wove other kinds of tapestries. "I need a special tallit," she explained, her voice as soft as the yarns on the shelves. "It's for my grandson, Baruch. He's to have his bar mitzvah in Jerusalem next month." Moved by her request, Yosef set to work with an invigorated sense of purpose. He chose the finest wool, dyed with indigo ink that mirrored the shade of twilight. As his hands moved rhythmically across the loom, he thought about the rite of passage for young Baruch, about the weight of tradition, and the threads of continuity that bound generations. As the days lapsed into weeks, Miriam visited often, sometimes bringing steaming cups of mint tea or seed-dotted challah. Their conversations meandered from mundane discussions about the weather to profound exchanges about faith, loss, and renewal. Yosef found his heart knitting something unexpected, a tapestry of affection and companionship that filled his shop with newfound warmth. The tallit was nearly complete when the rains started, a deluge so fierce it seemed to want to wash the whole world anew. Safed's streets turned into transient rivers, and the townspeople retreated to their homes, lamps flickering like isolated beacons in the shroud of water. Late one evening, as Yosef put the finishing touches on the tallit, Miriam knocked on his door, her face pale, her eyes troubled. "It's Baruch," she said, the words catching in her throat. "His parents. There was an accident in the rain. They're gone." Yosef felt the room spin, the loom creak in the silence that followed. The tallit lay on the table, completed, each thread a silent witness to the cyclic joy and grief of human existence. In the days that followed, Yosef and Miriam embraced their grief together, the town of Safed cloaked in a somber quiet, interrupted only by the occasional call to prayer echoing from the synagogue. Baruch's bar mitzvah, instead of a large celebration in Jerusalem, became a small, intimate gathering in the local synagogue of Safed. Yosef, who seldom attended public gatherings, found himself beside Miriam, a pillar of silent strength. As Baruch wrapped himself in the talit, his young eyes ancient with premature understanding, the congregation stood, voices melding in prayer and consolation. In the melody of their chanting, in the soft embrace of the talit around Baruch's shoulders, Yosef felt an unspoken covenant reaffirm itself, between the past and present, the celestial and the earthly, the broken and the whole. With Miriam by his side, the threads of his own life rewove into patterns he'd never anticipated, patterns as enduring as the faith that had cradled his ancestors. In the quiet heart of Safed, amidst loss, love had woven its unlikely tapestry, binding the threads of broken hearts with the resilience and hope of enduring faith.